Greetings and hello! This here is the ancient spirit Tralaka. Here we have video number 73. The Nibiru system and red dead star it has is not the devil. Please, you know this part. No, 7 planets, 10 moons of the system of Nibiru. It is the name of the system, Nibiru. It is not the name of a planet or an actual sun or star. Okay? Now, the biblical part of the great red dragon being in the skies for an X number of days and then being bound again and to be thrown into the dark pits for 1,000 years and then having a time after of then later having to be unbound for a time. Those days of great confusion and washing of the waters over vast parts of the earth in certain passings of it, and then the people will forget and go about doing what they were doing before. Now, this part here, this amnesia part, this is where that magnetic war between the red dead star and the earth and moon, and some of it will also be the sun, will be the worst. It is also when the magnetic brakes that hold the outer shell of Earth that we walk on will be unlocked, and the land masses will have a bit of a bumper car fashion going on for a few days, for a short time, going on until that war of magnetics between the red dead star and the Earth and moon and the sun is over, in which the magnetic brakes of the outer shell of the Earth will be harshly thrust, bang, back into a new position, and the land masses will be skidding to a stop. Only then will the Earth's magnetic poles get to the new home position. It has to work this way because the Earth is a multi-dimensional planet. So there's a whole lot going on that you're not seeing. When some of this I've talked about before. Then the wobble that the planet Earth is presently doing will go into a slow wobble and then back into its normal movements, and the seasons of the weather will begin to calm down and stabilize. The moon will also be affected for a bit and may even have an altered rotation around the Earth for some time. This will be where you see the evidence that the moon has its own power plant, and to always put it back where it should be, or rather where the operators of the moon that are within the moon feel it should be. A normal moon having been shook around by the magnetics of a dead red star would take a long time to get back into position or of orbit. Yet how many times have people noticed in let's say just the last year and mentioned that the moon in some parts of its orbit at night is not in the right location. It's not in the right part of its path. But in the morning it is back into where it should be. This is because the operators within the moon who've had this base for probably hundreds of thousands of years, they have to move the moon back into orbit to the right pathway to assure the tides and that friction with the Earth's magnetics and the moon's are just right where they should be for the inhabitants of the Earth's experience and safety. Now, back to it. The meaning of this red dragon, it is not a devil or an evil entity. It is not Judgment Day. It is a red dead star that is within the Niburu system. Each time it comes with the planets that orbit. It has a history of killing vast numbers of humans on this planet because they did not understand the science behind why the red dead star comes back every few thousand years, give or take. It is a matter of science, not vengeful gods or vengeful angels, or you're going to burn in hell. It is all attached to, this is science, okay? It is a matter of keeping track of when this thing comes, when it goes, and being prepared. Okay, when it comes by Earth and does its dirty deeds and then leaves, and the people forget their brains, or because their brains are being zapped for a few days, because they are within that magnetic war storm between the Earth and the Moon and the red dead star. Once again, this is a matter of science, not get down on your knees and cry to entities, which for the most part were made up, but to move the Nibiru system when they're praying with the red dead sun out of their way where it would not affect the earth in their very frantic prayers, yet not understanding what they are demanding and what it could affect. For let's say in a different part of the elongated orbit of the Nibiru system, it could be altered to affect an entire couple planets. They may have tens of billions of very friendly and peaceful beings in it, and it will line them up like an 8-ball shot in a quarter pocket. Okay, for no reason at all, simply because the people on Earth are trying to manifest the responsibility to somebody else because they weren't prepared. All right. So the narrow brainwashed people throughout the whole whitewash of religions by demanding in prayers as 100-foot plus waves come over their heads, they could be in their short-sighted minded and their foolishness be condemning an entirely other species of peaceful beings in another part of this Nibiru system's orbit. Now, that's a horrible thing to think of. Yet the red dead star has been through our system of planets numerous times. Numerous times. For the most part, the civilized planet Earth people live in a kill zone of the oceans time and time again. And during the decades of the Nibiru system coming back, especially into our system of planets, and yet they still can't figure out why tens of millions in that get killed each time it comes around, yet they build their stuff next to the water again. All right, now back to the explanation. The being bound for 1,000 years means this in a science aspect through the beings, the off-world beings I work with. Okay, once the near farthest part of the Nibiru system is past the outer planets of Pluto and getting about as far back as it can get, this is where that 1,000 years mark is until it is nearing the being affecting Pluto again, and then there's going to be a time for it to be unleashed again. This is where that time of being unleashed is talking about, when the Nibiru system is coming back into influence. All right, the 1,000 years is when the Nibiru system is on its farthest loop from out, and it will be in the darkest part of our solar system. The biblical and written down by many civilizations on Earth, the number of 1,000 is not a literal number, because the Nibiru system and its red star, which is dead, the red dead star, has numerous other systems the Nibiru system affects along its long route. Each time it affects another system, it has also the potential to be slowed down or sped up, or its orbit being adjusted depending upon the magnetic wars it has with other planet, moons, and sun, which will affect also how it comes back in a trajectory reasoning into our neck of the woods, meaning Earth, in its next orbit through. It could be a different speed, it could be a different orbit, a lot of things here. So, this here is the Ancient Spirit Tralaka. As always, research, connect with your inner spirit, understand the truth, not to propaganda programming bullshit lies that keep getting propagated out there to keep you dumb. because I don't believe spirit humans are dumb. I believe we have potentials that the controllers cannot possibly understand. Good night.